Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
That's Charles Manson, a man interrogated on account of cold-blooded murder. Want to know what evil truly sounds like? The following contains the most disturbing interviews with serial killers. Truly makes one wonder, how evil can 1 or 10 human beings be?
We are all evil in some form or another.
Murder. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. These 10 killers are no saints, but incarnations of pure evil. What's worse, they have no remorse. The following clips contain the most disturbing interrogations and interviews with 10 serial killers. At number 10, we have Ted Bundy. Most criminals often show fear or signs of nervousness during interrogations or interviews. Not Ted. In a jailhouse interview with Ted Bundy, it appears that the suave yet cold-blooded Bundy had quite the reputation among other notorious serial killers.
You feel that everything will turn out all right, that you are innocent. Do you still feel that?
Yeah, more than ever.
Smiling through his interrogation and appearing relaxed, he was confident that he wouldn't be convicted.
I'm not guilty. Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old?
Bundy keeps eye contact with his interviewer throughout most of their conversation, and it's easy to become lulled into a false sense of security, which is exactly Ted's intention.
If someone's crazy enough and nutty enough to do something like that, I can't stop them. There's nothing I can do.
The night before his execution, and we finally see the expression of fear on Ted Bundy. It seems not all monsters can remain that confident for long after all. Number 9. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was a notorious serial killer with a tendency to shift blame for his accused crimes.
You're in trouble now.
Yeah, right.
Aren't you afraid sitting that close to me?
This wasn't the first time evidence for John Wayne towards this end is shown in a clip documented by CBS News 2 Chicago back in 1992.
I don't believe in hitting children. I don't believe in spoiling a child either.
Accused of murdering 33 kids, and you say you don't believe in hitting. Interviewer Walter Jacobson was stunned while interrogating John Wayne Gacy, who was exceptional at providing alibis to prove his innocence.
Buckovich is not one that I killed, so I don't know nothing about him.
Gacy casually demonstrated how he killed his victims with ropes by using a shoelace.
You just turn this, and I says it causes a tourniquet. I said, that's the only knot I ever learned.
Precisely the kind of knot found on the ropes of his victims. Number 8. Edmund Kemper. Kemper's impressive intellect and well-spoken nature would make it hard to believe that his first murder was at the tender age of 15.
I would have been a mass murderer at age 15. I would have killed until he gunned me down. I wouldn't have been able to reason my way out of it.
The killer makes a self-referential joke on his modus operandi of picking up hitchhikers by putting on a pair of glasses and asking the camera crew whether they would get into a car with him. Kemper's calm mental state is devastatingly worrisome. His documentary's exploitative narration pushes the creep factor of this killer to the top.
I am an American, and I killed Americans. I am a human being, and I killed human beings. And I did it in my society.
Number 7. Jeffrey Dahmer. It's almost impossible to miss the rage in the demeanor of Jeffrey Dahmer as he discusses his history with the interviewer, Stone Phillips.
And I acted on my fantasies, and that's where everything went wrong.
When asked if he felt anything, having dismembered most of his victims, his reply showed his cold-heartedness and a possible loss of touch with humanity and empathy. He said,
Killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control.
Weirdly enough, Dahmer had moments during his acts of violence when he regretted the decisions he made.
Once it happened the first time, it just seemed like it had control of my life from there on in.
Number 6. Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez is a night stalker and maybe one of the most frightening serial killers of all time. Not only due to the cruelty of his crimes, but also due to the fact that he projected an aura of what many perceive to be pure evil. He even accepts the fact that he is evil.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil.
Ramirez, in a questioning attempt by Watkins, revealed glimpses of coiled rage and anger.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago. Why? I don't care to explain that. Let the quote stand for itself.
Ramirez is comparatively more relaxed during the interview. Ramirez's statements during his interview display the Night Stalker's obsession with Satanism, evil, and the occult.
I believe in the evil in human nature. This is a wicked, wicked world.
And in a wicked world, wicked people are born.
Now, to the top 5 of the most disturbing interviews with serial killers list, we have Gary Ridgway. Gary Ridgway, aka the Green River Killer, was one of the most prolific of all American serial murderers, and perhaps one of the most unrepentant. Any of his interviews would make you take him for a normal person rather than the psychopath he was. He expressed to profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole how he would first gain the trust of his victims before killing them. Number 4, Otis Toole.
I like to say a whole city burned down.
A statement than one would most likely hear from psychopaths in movies. This interview with Otis Toole is the stuff of nightmares. Toole's bursts of laughter and chilling smile makes one wonder if this man had any shred of humanity left in him. Additionally, there's the explicit nature of how Toole describes his past crimes and how he and his former associate and fellow killer, Henry Lee Lucas, seemed to so easily dissociate from valuing human life. His pride in killing is evident in the following statement.
Ain't nothing to it. It's like drinking a cup of coffee, smoking cigarette. Once you get into the habit, you do it.
Number 3, Issei Sagawa. Unlike the majority of other entries, this isn't technically a serial killer. However, this interview footage is far too disturbing not to make the list. History and dark deeds are detailed in the documentary, while Issei himself describes the premeditated shooting and devouring of his classmate Renee Hatterfield while she was living and studying in France. Obsessions are also detailed in the piece, as well as the legal loopholes that allowed the killer to escape prison. Number 2, Charles Manson. There has been a wealth of interview footage of Charles Manson released over the years, most of which reveal the mind of an unhinged person.
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like Wolf's Kebab's right finished?
A 1987 interview with correspondent Heidi Schulman reveals what type of person Charles Manson was.
I wouldn't do anything that I felt guilty about.
You don't feel guilty at all?
There's no need to feel guilty. I haven't done anything I'm ashamed of.
He even confessed that an urge to kill more would have helped to ease him off.
Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then when I felt like I really offered society something.
Number 1 is our only female killer on this list, Eileen Wuornos. The interview with Eileen Wuornos on the eve of her execution is disturbing, to say the least.
I'm okay. God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything.
There are the crimes for which Wuornos was convicted, but there are also the stories Eileen tells about her treatment in prison.
They had the intercom on in the room, and they kept lying that it wasn't on, and they were using sonic pressure on my head since 1997.
Sonic
pressure. And every time I was trying to write something, I think they had some kind of eye in the cell, I'm not sure, but every time I started writing something, it went up higher.
Her accusations of sonic torment and food tampering speak to her paranoia and mental state during this time. All other comments she passed in the room that day made a show of her apathy towards whatever the society had in common for keeping safe. These are the most disturbing interviews we've seen so far. Who knows? Maybe there's another killer out there, dreaming of a day they'll be casually boasting about their murder exploits.